Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. In the middle space of the Dream Realm, although there were occasionally some terrifying Dream Realm creatures that even Luo Feng could not detect, when treasure hunting and being attacked by these creatures, with the strength of their team, they were still able to jointly respond. This team was incredibly powerful, with Emperor Chu being domineering and the abilities of Wuxin God King being numerous. The two of them were already a strong combination, and now with the addition of Luo Feng, who had many avatars, and was very good at entangling the enemy, the team's ability to handle risks had greatly increased. Ha ha ha, with brother Luo He here, our exploration of the Dream Realm is much safer, Emperor Chu said with a grin. That ultimate realm creature that was just now frantically chasing the other team members, in reality, those members were all transformations of brother Luo He, laughed Wuxin God King. Cloud Sky God King also felt much more at ease. In the past, exploring the Dream Realm was terrifying and much more dangerous. Having one more powerful companion in the team made all the difference. I only have these avatar techniques, Luo Feng said with a smile. They sat by a stream, drinking and chatting, waiting for the results of Luo Feng's avatars scouting ahead. Suddenly, Luo Feng and the others looked towards the distance, where a team was fleeing at an extremely high speed. The team consisted of 9 figures, with the leader being a cloaked figure, having 3 faces, one at the front and one on each side, each face scrutinizing the surroundings. One Far Tower. Emperor Chu, Wuxin God King, and Cloud Sky God King all tensed up, the smiles vanishing from their faces. Luo Feng also saw the cloaked figure within that team. Is that the Wan Fa Tao Master? Luo Feng had not had any dealings with the Wan Fa Tao Master and felt no fear, but he had also collected detailed intelligence on this Wan Fa Tao Master. The founders behind the 3 major alien race forces, 2 Realms Palace, Wan Fa Tower, and Time-Space Lonely Boat, all had different approaches. The 2 Realms Palace Master acted domineeringly, and was the most aggressive, with 2 Realms Palace also having the greatest momentum. The Time-Space Demon, from the Time-Space Lonely Boat was extremely low profile, ruthless, and vicious in his actions, and even the 2 ancient countries feared this Time-Space Demon the most. The Master of Wan Fa Tower, it is said, mastered all techniques. Even if his abilities were restricted to the upper limit of the Primal Chaos Realm. An incountable number of secret techniques could transform the quality of the team under his command, making them the most difficult opponent to deal with. In the Treasures Realm, the most difficult to face head-on is the team led by the Wan Fa Tao Master, said Emperor Chu with some pressure, communicating telepathically. Let's quickly leave this Dream Realm space. And stay far away from them. Right, let's hurry and go, the farther from them, the better. Wuxin God King also felt uneasy. Luo Feng inwardly sighed. Wan Fa Tower Master. Even with his powerful abilities suppressed, just by leading a team, he still made beings at the peak of the 2nd level of God King realm, like Emperor Chu and Wuxin God King feel wary and even afraid. How terrifying would it be if his true body could descend? It's no wonder that on the land of origin, it is rumored that the true bodies of these 3 alien races are not inferior to the ancestors of the 2 countries. The Wan Fa Tower Master leading his team spotted Luo Feng and his 4 companions from afar. It's the team from Reincarnation Tower, and compared to the past, they have 1 additional member with black scales and golden horns. All 3 faces of the Wan Fa Tower Master scrutinized the Reincarnation Tower team. In an instant, he observed from many aspects, studying, and recorded a lot of information. I have locked onto them. If they continue to stay in this Dream Realm space, we can look for an opportunity to deal with them, instructed the Wan Fa Tao Master telepathically. Yes, Master, the 8 members behind him replied, 6 of whom were at the 2nd realm of God King, while 2 were also invincible at the 1st realm of God King. They were a combination team handpicked by the Wan Fa Tao Master. Following the secret techniques passed on by the Wan Fa Tao Master, the 8 members working together could bring a qualitative change to the overall strength of the team. The members of Wan Fa Tower greatly admired their master. Because he would often give them guidance in cultivation, he could be considered half a master. Phew. The distant reincarnation tower team quickly left, and in just a moment, they were out of that dream realm space. They've left this dream realm space, the Wan Fa Tower master shook his head, too cautious. The dream realm contained an enormous number of spaces. Each space was independent, and once the reincarnation tower left that space, even the Wan Fa Tower master would have difficulty continuing to lock onto them. They are afraid of the master. Master, there is no need to mind that reincarnation tower, one god king at the second realm directly called him master. Indeed, within the internal members, the Wan Fa Tower master had taken on 15 direct disciples. In terms of teaching ability, he was even above the ancestors of the two countries, and also above the alien races behind Two Realms Palace and Time-Space Lonely Boat. The internal unity of Wan Fa Tower had a great relationship with the master's willingness to teach the internal members. Luo Feng's team quickly left that dream realm space. Every time I meet the Wan Fa Tower master, I feel anxious, Wuxing God King couldn't help saying. I feel like none of my techniques are secret from him. Although his own strength is suppressed by the supreme rules, he is able to make his team exhibit overwhelming strength. Emperor Chu shook his head. I've died at the hands of Wan Fa Tower's team 3 times already. Died that many times? Luo Feng was surprised. Emperor Chu nodded. Wan Fa Tower's team works together perfectly. During combat, it's as if they've calculated all our countermoves. No matter how we resist or struggle, it's hard to escape. I also have to rely on the boundary-breaking escape technique every time I escape, but when I use the boundary-breaking escape technique, I can't take any creatures with me. Wuxing God King shook his head. The boundary-breaking escape technique of Brother Witch Heart can instantly appear anywhere in the land of origin. It can even leave the source world. Theoretically, it holds the promise of reaching another source world, Emperor Chu said. But I can't go, Wuxing God King shook his head. I need precise coordinates to have a chance of reaching another source world. Beyond the braided cage world, even I would get lost. So at most, I dash out, take a tour, and then return to the source world. Amazing, Luo Feng exclaimed. Brother Witch Heart, you can actually fly and escape outside the braided cage world. When it comes to escape skills, Witch Heart truly is among the best in the land of origin, Emperor Chu laughed. What does it feel like to fly and escape outside the braided cage world? Luo Feng was curious. Very dangerous. Wuxing God King said, outside the braided cage world lies the endless primordial space, filled with infinite primordial force. Once we are corroded by the primordial force, we creatures inside the cage can quickly be eroded into nothingness and die completely. In the end, we are still creatures inside the cage, while the real primordial lives can live comfortably in the primordial space, Wuxing God King said. Luo Feng understood. Cloud Sky God King often participated in teams, and was very familiar with the means of Chu and Witch Heart. Emperor Chu said, we have run into teams from Two Realms Palace, and teams from Wan Fa Tower, and this time, we have also explored 5 Dream Realm spaces. So we can leave now. Greed is bad, Wuxing God King also nodded. The more Dream Realm spaces they explored, the more likely they could take a big fall one day. I agree, Luo Feng nodded. He had many avatars that had long been left in various Dream Realm spaces. He could take root here entirely. See a novel, f.ia.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Let's hurry and go. I get a bit scared just seeing the Wan Fa Tower master, Cloud Sky God King also said. Let's go. And just like when they came, under Wuxing God King's hidden heaven escape technique, the entire team quietly returned and carefully passed through the Dream Realm entrance area, blocked by 2 ancient countries, finally making it back to the normal world of the land of origin. Phew. In the blink of an eye, the entire team crossed the vast distance from the Dream Realm entrance to Huang Yao Mountain. Inside Huang Yao Mountain, the 4 of them, including Luo Feng, finally relaxed completely. Ha, this exploration of the Dream Domain went very smoothly. Although we were sabotaged by the Two Realms Palace, and also attacked by powerful Dream Realm creatures, it was much easier with little brother Luo He, Emperor Chu laughed. Now let's distribute the treasures, Wuxin God King also said. Luo Feng and Cloud Sky God King's eyes shone. The treasures we took from the dream domain are well known to everyone, together they are worth about 280 million merit points, Wuxin God King said. Sister Yun Tian will take 28 million merit points. The rest of us will each take 84 million merit points. Luo Feng also felt excited. Treasures worth over 80 million merit points. Entering coveted areas like infinite space, even for guest elders to exchange in the two great ancient countries, it would cost 50 million merit points. This income was something ordinary creatures, at the first realm of Godly King, could not amass in a lifetime. People like Emperor Tian Kuan, who were at that level, their gains from raiding treasure areas were generally much less than Emperor Chu's and Wuxin God King's tier. Yet Luo Feng's gain was equal to theirs. Clearly, the hundreds of avatars simultaneously restraining the entire Dream Realm creature tribes had impressed Chu and Witch Heart, who acknowledged Luo Feng's contributions as no less than their own. Good, everything has been distributed, Wuxin God King quickly allocated the treasures, handing them over to the three companions. Luo Feng also received a spatial storage bag filled with many rare treasures, all uniquely fostered by the special environment of the dream domain and invaluable. However, Luo Feng did not cultivate the primordial bloodline, so most were useless to him. Do you know the detailed information about the treasures of the dream domain, brother Luo He? Wuxin God King asked. Knowing their detailed value allows us to use them better, and to sell them to other godly kings. I know, Luo Feng nodded. His master, Emperor Chu, had given him that information earlier. By the way, does anyone have 5-colored treasure medicine? The 5-colored treasure medicine was reportedly concocted from the heart of a sector beast which surpassed the godly king level, sold exclusively by the two ancient countries. Upon taking it, one's affinity with the great Tao of destruction origin could be significantly enhanced as if the Tao itself favored them. With this treasured medicine, cultivating the great Tao of destruction origin would be much smoother. The higher one's achievement in this area, the more effective the great destruction heart refining technique could be. But a dose of the medicine cost 10 million merit points, a staggeringly high price. Over the long years, many doses of the 5-colored treasure medicine had been acquired by various Kuching god kings. None here, Shu, Witch Heart, and Cloud Sky God King all shook their heads. 5-colored treasure medicine is rare. While some Kuching God Kings have exchanged for it, most have used it up long ago, Wuxin God King said. You can ask your master, he is an emperor after all. Luo Feng nodded. Now that this mission is over, let's disband, Emperor Chu laughed. Let's gather for the next mission. All right. Until we meet again. Luo Feng and the others all replied with smiles, all very pleased with their haul. For Luo Feng, venturing out once and gaining treasures worth tens of millions of merit points was a significant boost to his cultivation journey. Naturally, he was willing to participate in some of the upcoming actions. Phew. Soon after, the four of them quietly dispersed and left Huang Yao Mountain, each returning to their respective places. Flame Wind Ancient Country, Chu Capital. Finally, I'm not poor anymore, Luo Feng stood inside the guest elder cave mansion, in quite a good mood. Before exploring the dream domain, he was indeed a bit poor. A guest elder has very few merit points, and as for cosmic sand, the value of cosmic sand is too low. The 300 billion units of cosmic sand used for the Desert Wind City Lord to redeem himself in the Thunder Ancient Country's transcendence of primal chaos realm only equates to 1 million merit points. In the treasure trove infinite space, the tens of thousands of reward points are indeed precious, but Luo Feng is saving these points to exchange for the God King's second realm section of the special grade inheritance. After all, although resources are important, a special grade inheritance is even more critical. It's very difficult to obtain reward points in infinite space, and each expenditure must be considered even more carefully. Over 80 million merit points is enough for me to be extravagant. Luo Feng immediately left the cave mansion, and went directly to the palace of Emperor Chu to meet his master. Inside the palace of Emperor Chu, Emperor Chu was deeply immersed in his cultivation. A dark and colossal phantom appeared, emanating an endless aura of destruction. The complete great Tao of destruction origin. Trying to fully comprehend it is truly too difficult. Emperor Chu opened his eyes. He had experienced too long a torment and always felt he was only a little bit away, but that little bit forever blocked his path. Unlike those who practiced the primordial bloodline, Emperor Chu, using treasures to cultivate into an ultimate realm life form, was not influenced by bloodline will and could maintain absolute clarity to comprehend the Tao. To date, I've realized 5 ultimate realm secret techniques, and my accumulation is profound enough, cogitated Emperor Chu. Among the emperors, I can rank within the top 5. Yet I cannot break through. Only by mastering the complete Tao can I continue to stay on the land of origin in the next era. Emperor Chu understood this point. The threshold for leaving the land of origin is to become an ultimate realm life form. Even if the land of origin undergoes destruction, they can continue to live in the outer realms. But leaving the land of origin, without the protection of the home source world, the living conditions would be harsher by 1,000 to 10,000 times. The environment for the ancestors of the 2 countries outside is just such a perilous and severe one. Saw the novelfire.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Only staying on the land of origin, to withstand the destruction and rebirth of the land of origin, would then be recognized by the supreme rules of the land of origin as a native life of the new era. But to withstand the entire process of destruction and rebirth of the source world, one must realize a complete Tao. Thus, in the last era, only the East Extreme Domain ancestor and the 2 countries' ancestors, these 3 survived into this era. Those who relied on external forces to cultivate into ultimate realm life forms are still alive in part, but have long left the land of origin. The protection of the home source world is very important. I must comprehend a complete Tao. Emperor Chu also had ambitions. The godly kings of the royal family in the 2 ancient countries all have desires. Their first step is to become emperors and monarchs. On one hand, they have the qualifications to leave the land of origin and can live a long time. On the other hand, their strength and status increase, gaining more resources. The second step is to master the complete Tao. In this era of the 2 ancient countries, only Emperor Qing has achieved this. Di Fu, not hesitating to be reborn and giving up the cultivation of the primordial bloodline, aimed to achieve this goal. Emperor Chu looked outside. His disciple Luo Feng had already arrived at the entrance of the hall. Master, Luo Feng greeted respectfully from outside. Come in, Emperor Chu smiled, very satisfied with Luo Feng as a disciple. Already possessing achievements that surpass history in the first realm of Godly King, he looked forward to his disciple's future accomplishments. If the disciple is powerful, he might also be able to help his master. Luo Feng immediately stepped into the grand hall. I heard you've recently established a sect, Blade River Sect, Emperor Chu said with a smile. It gives ordinary cultivators more cultivation opportunities, said Luo Feng. He indeed didn't care much. At his level, even if the sect was powerful, what benefit would it bring to him? Even if it was incredibly significant and cultivated 3 or 5 godly kings, how would it matter? Luo Feng himself could easily create hundreds of powerful avatars. The path of cultivation is such, the stronger your power, the less significant the number of the weak becomes. Master, I came today to inquire if there's a way to purchase the 5-colored treasure medicine, Luo Feng said. 5-colored treasure medicine. Emperor Chu's eyes lit up and he smiled. I've used this 5-colored treasure medicine before, the effects are excellent. A portion of 5-colored treasure medicine is valued at 10 million merit points. Can you afford it now? The disciple's time in cultivation is quite short to have accumulated such wealth. There are not many merit points from being a guest elder, Luo Feng said, but by chance, I did obtain some treasures that could be exchanged. No big deal. I can buy it for you, Emperor Chu said, but the imperial clan has its rules. When the royal family exchanges for treasures, they must use them on themselves. If exchanged and traded with the outside world, the exchange price and the guest elder's exchange price are the same, and this is also to prevent the god kings of the royal family from emptying the treasure trove. Luo Feng nodded. As long as there's a price difference, the god kings of the royal family acting as traders could make a huge profit. Obviously, the two ancient countries had long closed this possibility. The 5-colored treasure medicine is scarce. I can help you buy at most 2 portions, Emperor Chu said. Each portion is also 10 million merit points. Thank you, Master, Luo Feng rejoiced. The 5-colored treasure medicine, such a level of treasure, a guest elder could exchange for it only once in their lifetime, and even that required sufficient contributions. As an emperor, Emperor Chu could now buy at most 2 portions. If Luo Feng were outside, the price he feared would be much greater. This 5-colored treasure medicine was crafted from the heart of a sector beast beyond godly king level, combined with other materials. Once consumed, it's as if it becomes a part of the great Tao of destruction origin, greatly benefiting cultivation, Emperor Chu said. Sector beast beyond godly king level. Luo Feng was curious. In the land of origin, only the sector beast from the Tianmu kingdom is at the ultimate realm of god king. Of course, the sector beast beyond a godly king isn't from our source world. Emperor Chu didn't hide it from Luo Feng. I once asked the ancestor about this, and he told me the story. It comes from another source world, an incredibly powerful catastrophe beast that had broken the limits of fate and cultivated beyond the level of god king. After leaving its source world, cultivation wasn't easy, so it used its own heart and some materials to craft the 5-colored treasure medicine. The ancestor bought some and left it in the imperial clan, Emperor Chu said, for that sector beast, using its heart for alchemy, it could cultivate it back with some time. Luo Feng was astonished. The sector beast crafted the 5-colored treasure medicine itself. How difficult is it to kill a sector beast beyond the godly king level and still preserve the entire corpse? The huge price one pays, and even if the treasures were created, would it be your turn? Emperor Chu smiled. It was that very sector beast that crafted it itself, and in large quantities too, selling them to the ancestors. That's why the prices are relatively low, and you can afford it. Luo Feng nodded. That sector beast had it tough. It broke the limits of fate, becoming beyond a god king, yet it still had to use its own body for alchemy. The body of a sector beast is very special, fitting extremely well with the great Tao of destruction origin. The more powerful the sector beast, the more valuable its bodily material, Emperor Chu said. That sector beast beyond the godly king, its heart, blood, and bones, everything could be turned into treasures aiding cultivation. Actually, the 5-colored treasure medicine is just the most well-known treasure aiding the great Tao of destruction origin, Emperor Chu said. There are even better aiding treasures that I once used. Better ones? Luo Feng's heart stirred. Boundary Beast Blood Talisman. Emperor Chu said, also personally crafted by that pioneering sector beast beyond the godly king, using its own blood to make the command token. 1 token costs 1 billion merit points. Once used, it can temporarily condense a complete great Tao of destruction origin within one's body. 1 token lasts about 3 epochs. Luo Feng was startled. You prepare 1 billion merit points worth of treasures, and I will buy you one, Emperor Chu grinned. My cultivation is of the great Tao of destruction origin, so I still have the qualifications to exchange for one more. Okay, Luo Feng nodded repeatedly. As your mentor, I know. This is the best treasure aiding the great Tao of destruction origin, Emperor Chu said. Want better? You'll probably have to find the ancestor. That's already great, Luo Feng was excited. Before this, he didn't know about the boundary beast blood talisman. People say I'm not good at teaching disciples. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. I'm aware of my limitations, indeed not skilled at instructing disciples. Luo Feng, you transcended the primal chaos realm, and are absolutely the first in the first realm of godly king, not because of my teachings, but because your own talent is high enough. As your mentor, the most I can do is to help you as much as possible with resources, Emperor Chu said. Of course, you still need to provide the treasure yourself. Your mentor here is quite poor too. Luo Feng laughed. The great Tao of destruction origin, you need these treasures. What about the great Tao of life origin, the origin Tao of matter? Emperor Chu asked, what treasures do you need? Can I help with anything? Luo Feng was moved. Because he could always directly confront the complete great Tao of life origin, on this path, Luo Feng had indeed walked much further than the great Tao of destruction origin, having already started experimenting with integrating branches of the Tao. Master, I also need materials from the 24 forms, Luo Feng said, not much, just a little flesh and scales. Is there a way to purchase them? 24 forms. Emperor Chu frowned slightly. 24 forms is one of the many forms presented after reaching the ultimate realm of the life origin Great Tao. This particular form is quite special. Luo Feng listened. Beings with primordial bloodline life bred within the land of origin have very powerful life forms, Emperor Chu said, though their intelligence is low. Those of primal chaos realm levels of primordial bloodline life, even the ones with the thinnest bloodline, could manifest 10-direction world life form. Luo Feng nodded, having collected some materials while he garrisoned Xiangjie city. As for those with richer bloodlines, those at the first realm of godly king level of primordial bloodline creatures, I haven't heard of any with the 24 forms, Emperor Chu said. At the second realm level, it's extremely rare. At the ultimate realm of God King level of primordial bloodline creatures, the life forms are extremely powerful, many go beyond the 24 forms. As for those beyond God King, they are true primordial life forms, existences that have escaped the braided cage, Emperor Chu said. Luo Feng nodded. Primordial bloodline creatures generally have the characteristics of extremely high life essence, low intelligence, low realm, thus they can only unleash very little of their body's potential. Like true primordial life forms beyond God King, they clearly are beings that have escaped the braided cage. But the strength they can demonstrate might not necessarily be comparable with the ancestors of two ancient countries. Ultimate realm of God King level primordial bloodline creatures are strictly guarded by the two ancient countries, absolutely not disclosed. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng, because extracting their bloodline makes becoming an emperor or monarch much easier. Unless you have treasures that even the ancestors fancy, allowing the ancestors to make an exception for you, Emperor Chu said, we, these emperors and monarchs, have no rights to give them to you, not even a drop of blood. Luo Feng understood. Primordial bloodline creatures at the second realm of Godly King, theoretically, are the best primordial bloodlines a guest elder could obtain, Emperor Chu said, but the threshold is extremely high. I only need a small amount of material, Luo Feng said. I will find a way to see what cost it takes to get some materials, Emperor Chu said, but I advise you to start with Thunder Ancient Country. In cultivating primordial bloodline creatures, Thunder Ancient Country is more skilled than our Flame Wind Ancient Country, and they have more in number, making it easier to obtain. This video will end here.